Ancient North Galaxy, the planet of Saiyan primates. All the Saiyans celebrated that victory had been given and 0 deaths occurred for the Saiyan side due to the dragons being slain by the one who was considered a dragon slayer. A young man with black hair, grey fighter's clothing that was considered a true warrior. That young man who wanted to fight any enemy and always believed he was going to win. At that moment, Yamoshi showed his real power. Everyone spoke. Yamoshi is the great savior of all. Yamoshi has the power needed to successfully bring peace to our people. We know that we are going to be able to get stronger. We don't want to attack anyone. We know that we will only fight to bring peace to our planet. At that moment, Yamoshi says, "You don't have to worry. You can rest easy here. You are with me, and with me, nobody will do you any harm. I'm really going to show all my power. My skills are incredible. I'm sure I'll get stronger every time. Whatever dragon you want can come. I'll solve the situations here myself." At that moment, in a few moments, we can perceive a gigantic light that reaches the planet of Galaxy 4 in front of Yamoshi. Everyone starts watching. At that moment, a being with grey hair and bluish skin of short stature appears in front of Yamoshi. Yamoshi watches and speaks. "To what do I owe your visit? Are you my enemy, or who are you?" The being with blue skin and grey hair says, "Let's see if we don't have several dead dragons here. You all fought those dragons." Yamoshi watches and speaks. "No one had to fight here. I ended up with all of them myself." Yamoshi starts looking and staring at the being with grey hair and blue skin. At that moment, the being with blue skin says, "Much pleasure. I've been watching you for a long time, Yamoshi. I am Daishinkan of the Heavenly Guardian of the Supreme Being, Zeno-sama." At this time, Daishinkan was not yet the Great Priest. He was just a powerful angel who fought on behalf of all angels. Alright partner, why don't you whack that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos and stay well connected to our entire universe of Z Warriors. Let's get back to the point. Yamoshi watched Daishinkan and started to laugh. Yamoshi says, "What? Are you with that stature helping Zeno-sama's guards? Who do you think you are?" At that moment, Daishinkan starts laughing and says, "Allow me to show you some of my power." At that moment, the Saiyan's entire planet begins to shudder. Yamoshi watches with a straight face and says, "What? This guy is really strong. Looks like he's making me excited to fight." Daishinkan watches and speaks. "I didn't come here to fight. I came here to say that I really need you to come to my side, Yamoshi. I've been watching all your struggles and I can see that you're just looking for peace in these places, aren't you? You're just trying to save everything and everyone. So don't think that things turned out like that. The dragons want to cause a rebellion and destroy everything alongside the other allied races in the middle of the celestial wars. If powerful beings like you don't resolve the side, they will help. Things can get even more complicated." At that moment, Yamoshi observes Daishinkan and speaks. "I don't know why you are saying this. The only thing I want to protect is my planet. He knows. I don't care if all the planets are destroyed as long as my race remains here. You guys don't know why you care either. The angels for millennia have always been considered privileged races by all. Why do you need our help now?" The High Priest says, "The angels, even having a privilege of the gods, never got involved and tried to stop the free will of mortals. This is something the dragons will do if you resolve not to turn against the dragons. Soon, your race will be dominated and enslaved by several other races. Record what I'm talking about." At that moment, the High Priest starts to face Yamoshi and Yamoshi makes a serious face. All the other Saiyans stare. A great light appears directly on the Saiyan's planet. At that moment, Yamoshi says, "Another friend of yours arriving?" Daishinkan responds, "In fact, I don't even know who's here." At that moment, we can see a being with greenish skin and big horns. Zephyr appears in front of Yamoshi and Daishinkan. Zephyr says, "How dare you attack my army? How did you do that?" At that moment, Yamoshi observes and speaks. "Let's see if the commander of everything is not here." The great priest, after looking at Zephyr, realized that in that dragon there were no evil attitudes. Daishinkan watches and says, "Why can't I see evil in this dragon? What is he doing here? He really wanted to be here." Yamoshi says, "It was I myself who attacked the dragons. They came to want to end my race here, and I had done nothing, so it doesn't matter to me. If you came here, it's because you want to die too." At that moment, Zephyr begins to reflect and thinks, "If the dragons hadn't attacked the Saiyans, none of this would have happened. I don't feel any harm towards them, but I can't let my brother down." At that moment, Zephyr teleports and appears from behind Yamoshi. Yamoshi says, "What? What power is this? This guy is totally different from everyone else." Zephyr starts landing several blows on Yamoshi. Yamoshi begins to have great difficulty dodging. All Saiyans are impressed and say, "How is this possible? Master Yamoshi defeated all those dragons, but this dragon is fighting in an entirely different way. Why is this happening?" At that moment, Yamoshi begins to receive several blows, and Zephyr, with great ease, ends up humiliating Yamoshi in front of everyone. Daishinkan just watches, trying to analyze Zephyr's behavior. The moment Yamoshi was falling to the ground, everyone starts to analyze and talk. "This guy managed to defeat Master Yamoshi in just moments. This is practically surreal. How did he manage to do this?" Zephyr, with a serious face, says, "I'm sorry, but that will be the final blow." As Zephyr prepares to eliminate Yamoshi, Yamoshi's body starts turning silver and his hair changes color. Daishinkan starts to smile and says, "So is it really true?" Yamoshi begins to dodge and move much more deftly. Daishinkan observes and speaks, "The Ultra Instinct." At that moment, a superior form of Saiyan God begins to appear over Yamoshi's body. Yamoshi in a few moments lands several blows on Zephyr, making Zephyr fall to the ground. Zephyr says, "Well, does that mean then, what was it? Was it my destiny to die here? Maybe it was better that way. Finally, the wars will end, at least for me." Just as the uncontrolled Yamoshi was about to land the last blow on Zephyr, Daishinkan holds his hand and says, "That's enough. Now you two are kids. He didn't want to kill you at one point, and now you will spare him too, Yamoshi." Zephyr watches the high priest and speaks. "Why are you saving me?" The great priest smiles and says, "Because you yourself being a dragon, you are not our enemy. Let's fight this heavenly war together." Back to current times, Goku and Vegeta start watching and talk. "As well? You mean after all that, you became friends with the great priest?" Zephyr says, "Good. It was something like that. After that, I started talking to all of my brother Zalama's plans. As time went by, I actually became the Dragon God of War, and I began to train my powers more and more because I took pleasure in battles. But this time, I fought alongside the Great Priest and everyone else. I was considered the traitor by my race, and my entire race swore vengeance against me. But at one point, it still continued. At the time of the Celestial War, the Great Priest came face to face with Zakai, who had entered into an agreement with Zalama. At that moment, the Great Priest was at a great disadvantage and he needed the help of a great friend to be able to fight against the two. Daishinkan and Yamoshi fought together against Zakai and Zalama. First Heavenly War, millennia ago, after several events have occurred. Yamoshi had started to control his powers after doing several trainings with Daishinkan. After Yamoshi defeated the dragon god of war, Zephyr, Yamoshi began to understand that perhaps his people were protected. The battle was much more arduous than he imagined. Zephyr had been spared by Yamoshi and Daishinkan, and because he agreed with their ideals to save all kingdoms, he decided to turn against his brother Zalama. The angel Zakai, who at the time was the leader of all the angels, ended up getting into conflicts with Daishinkan itself due to agreeing with Zalama's ideals. Different ideals were caused in a totally different way. Enemies ended up being created due to a great celestial war. Zeno-sama had woken up. Zeno-sama's guards were prepared for the battle because they knew that a great and arduous fight was about to happen. Yamoshi next to the great priest says, "Looks like we're in the middle of the heavenly war, doesn't it? I feel the presence of several dragons coming here. I'll settle this here and now." "Stay here, that thing's got a lot hotter, Daishinkan." Daishinkan looks at Yamoshi and says, "I'm not the high priest. We have another angel who is in that position now." Yamoshi smiles and says, "It seems that sometimes I can see the future. I am sure that after this war, you will gain this position alongside the celestial beings." Yamoshi advances directly in front of several dragons that were fighting in the celestial war. Yamoshi, with great mastery, starts to show all his powers. At that moment, the great priest was waiting for that dragon who was acclaimed as the strongest dragon. Zalama comes face to face with the high priest. Zalama faces the future high priest Daishinkan. Zalama says, "How long have I heard about you, Daishinkan? Daishinkan is your name, isn't it? It is said that when we tore our blood in battle and had a life and death struggle, we became blood brothers. Isn't that fantastic now? You and I will fight here, and only the strongest will be able to emerge victorious." At that moment, the high priest looks and speaks. "I think with you there is not much talk. With you it seems like there isn't much chance of having a dialogue. If so, if we are blood brothers, get my big attack from your brother Daishinkan. Planetary attack of the angels." Zalama sees several blows coming towards him. Zalama tries to dodge all the blows that are thrown. Zalama says, "What incredible power is this? Is this what it took you years to accomplish? Is that why you are considered a prodigy among the angels, Daishinkan? Fantastic. But what about my attack?" At that moment, Daishinkan is watching and talking. "What is it? As well? Is he feeling virtually none of my blows?" At that moment, the high priest observes and speaks. "I seem to be in serious trouble now." Zalama looks at the high priest and says, "Horde of 1,000 dragons, ultimate dragon attack." Several dragons appear advancing towards Daishinkan. Daishinkan tries to dodge, but not even the mastery of Ultra Instinct is able to dodge all the attacks that were being launched there by the Supreme Dragon. Right after Zalama's supreme attack, Daishinkan is lying on the ground. A great light appears in front of Daishinkan. At that moment, it was Zakai. Zakai says, "Looks like you didn't have a chance to do anything. You're not from the Daishinkan. It seems that all your efforts and all the meeting you wanted to organize were for nothing. I knew you were never able to fight anyone." At that moment, Daishinkan starts to laugh and says, "Looks like you're right, but this time I managed to leave you to where I wanted." Zalama and Zakai find it strange to say a Daishinkan line. It seemed that Daishinkan already planned Zakai's betrayal and knew that the two would combine their powers together. Zalama's powers were greater than Daishinkan's powers at that time, and for some reason, Zakai decided to unite with some angels and create a rebellion. Daishinkan had been expecting all of this and had come up with a method to eliminate the two with a secret technique. At that moment, Daishinkan says, "If planetary devastation doesn't work, lunatic extinction reborn." At that moment, a great light was being emanated over the bodies of Zakai and Zalama. At that instant, Zalama says, "I don't believe we fell into the Daishinkan trap." A great light is cast over Zakai and Zalama's body. Zakai and Zalama receive Daishinkan's blow full on, lunatic extinction. At that moment, Daishinkan gets up and recovers his wounds. Daishinkan watches and says, "I don't think I can get my energy back. If they land me one more blow, that will be the end of me." At that moment, another barrier appears over Zalama's body. Furious, Zalama says, "How dare you? How dare? If I hadn't created this barrier of dragons, I would surely be dead." Note, the barrier of dragons that Zalama uses sucks the life energy of his race of dragons so that Zalama can survive the Daishinkan trap. Zalama had to sacrifice the lives of several of his dragon race. Zalama was furious. Zalama protected his body and the body of the angel Zakai. Daishinkan says, "What? Has he suffered nothing?" At that moment, Zalama speaks. "Now I will make sure not to miss this attack. Horde of 100,000 dragons, exonerate Daishinkan." Daishinkan observes and says, "Impossible. Last time he said 1,000 dragons. Now he's talking 100,000 dragons. What am I going to do here? I only have the last card left. Only if I do that, I will sacrifice myself. But at least those two will go with me." Just as Zalama was preparing to land his attack on Daishinkan, a large beam of energy appears and is launched at Zalama. Zakai and Zalama dodge with great agility, and at that moment, a voice appears. "Hey, my old friend, looks like you need my help again. These two are causing big problems around here, aren't they? In the past, I only thought about saving my race. But this time, I understood that what really matters is the protection of all universes. I can't be selfish wanting only my good. Thinking about it, after learning this Ultra Instinct, I want to introduce a new technique." Everything starts to shake. Yamoshi transforms into the first Infinite Saiyan God by combining his powers with Ultra Instinct. But unlike before, this time we will fight together. Daishinkan starts to laugh and says, "I knew you would come." At that moment, we can see that Yamoshi, side of Daishinkan, prepares against the High Priestess and Zalama. Back to current times. Goku and Vegeta are fascinated by what the Sapphire Dragon told. The Dragon Zephyr says, "Good. This battle still had a lot of precedence. The result of it was incredible." Goku questions himself, "But we want to know if Yamoshi and the Great Priest managed to win." Zephyr says, "Somehow they would have had to win or have fixed it, since the High Priest is still alive today, isn't he?" But what I want to say here, Son Goku, is that about all that Yamoshi energy, he was the first to unleash the power of Ultra Instinct fighting me, and from what I could tell, it's the same skill you also have. What do I mean? It's just that Yamoshi's energy is within you. Goku and Vegeta watch. Goku, with an astonished face, is looking at Zephyr. Zephyr says, "I will make you release your essence of Yamoshi, Son Goku. And I have something special for you, Vegeta." The Dragon Zephyr had finished telling about all the events that had occurred in the first phase of the Celestial War. However, Zephyr offers a little training for Goku and Vegeta to discover the essence of the Dragon Gods. Goku and Vegeta were reaching an unrivaled level. At that moment, after several events were being shown in the Northern Galaxy, where Goku and Vegeta were next to Zephyr, Even so, the Celestial War continued to occur and all other universes entered into conflicts and several warriors had the most important battles of their lives. Meanwhile, in Universe 6, Cauliflower alongside Kale and Kaba were fighting the threats that were appearing there. Since Cypher was directly fighting Vados, Cypher is regarded as an angel of destruction who betrayed the great priest himself. Champa was fighting several other destruction cats of his breed. Champa wasn't fighting seriously since he believed there was no need to activate his alter ego. Champa says,
"Good. Looks like a lot of Doom Cats are around. I haven't seen you for a long time. You mean that's how it's all going to work?" I don't mean to brag, but I'm much more powerful than Beerus. Knowing him, I'm sure he's scared to fight his own kind. But I'm different. I'm a man, and I fear no one. This is my universe, and the only one who can wreck things here is me. And just out of curiosity, where is my father? I would like to see him and show how strong his son has become. Several Doomcats start laughing, and a certain Doomcat says, "Do you think that elite beings from the Destruction Cat race would need our father to come here to end it just for you? Our father is still on the planet of the Cats of Destruction, while we are separated by different universes to end everything. You must remember that as a child, the weakest among us all is not Champa. You will be deleted soon. But be aware that soon after, we will go to Universe 7 after Beerus." Champa starts laughing and says, "You don't know what you're talking about. I myself will bring you all down. Now I know that my father is still on my home planet. As soon as I send you to the other world, I'll go to him to settle the score." At that moment, one of the Destruction Cats says, "Be it known that the Earth and planet Sadala of your universe will be utterly destroyed." At that moment, Champa starts to laugh and says, "You should pay close attention before you come with this whole threat to Universe 6. Know that on our front line that there are several other mortals who have extremely high powers, and they are now on Earth from Universe 6, solving all that." The Cat of Destruction is amazed and says, "What? Did you plan everything for your defense, you bastard?" At that time, Cypher was fighting Vados and says, "Ha ha ha, let's see, my dear sister Vados, you really got a lot stronger. I knew I could count on you. My dear sister would never let me defeat you so easily. You were always the strongest in hand-to-hand combat. I'm getting fascinated, Vados. Now I simply want to see what your power level will be." Vados starts to laugh and says, "Everything you did to my son Gon made me never forgive you, my brother. You really proved to be that creator of the evil family. Good, let's start this fight." At that moment, Cypher starts to observe and says, "Don't worry, unfortunately, Gon got in my way and I had to teach him a lesson. But think on the bright side, at least he matured pretty quickly and is now an adult to fight in a war." "Actually, I did you a favor, my dear sister." Cypher changes his face to a serious one and says, "But still, I really need to sort it out with you. Let me show you one of the techniques I've learned all this time." Cypher takes his staff and places it on the ground. At the same time, Vados observes and speaks. "Nothing happened. What did you do?" At that moment, Cypher starts laughing and says, "All the battles that I have and all the enemies that I fight, I start to observe different changes in time, and with that, I can create versions of the enemies that I've already fought or that I've seen in battles, and I can even create their DNA and make combinations again warrior. This way, I could see the skills that Goku showed when he fought Gon when he was captured by me and Ziel. Now I simply created some warriors that will cause some problems for these most powerful mortals in Universe 6. Vados looks astonished and says, "It cannot be. You were able to reach this point?" Universe 6, Earth.
Several Doom Cats were being defeated by Cauliflower. Cauliflower says,
"You are powerful, but the training I had is much higher. I know that I can show more and more skills, and my powers can get bigger and bigger. I'm sure no one will be able to beat me. After I saw Grandpa fighting in that tournament organized by Zeno-sama, I realized that my powers would manage to get bigger and bigger because I also have pure Saiyan blood just like him. My fighting spirit emerges more and more. I'm getting excited. Come on, you can come." While everyone was fighting, Hit, in a few moments more distant, observed everything and had detected a presence until then unknown. Hit says,
"My time jump ability can sense that you're hiding your key, but it can't hide in time and space. It's very easy to predict where you are."
Hit starts talking like an unknown being that until now has not been introduced to us. Hit says,
"I could sense your energy a long time ago from here. I could see that your power was much greater than many others were imagining. Does this mean that this will end up happening? So this is the strength that you have to reveal."
At that instant, the unknown voice speaks.
"I've heard a lot about you, assassin from Universe 6. Hit is your name, isn't it? Know that it will be a pleasure to wipe out your entire race. What will be even more powerful is a killer taking out another killer. Wouldn't that be interesting?"
Hit starts watching with a strange face for what he was seeing. Hit of laughter and speech.
"Let's see if you can handle my time jump. You're just a cheap copy of me."
A few moments pass and a being extremely similar to Goku with dark skin appears in front of Cauliflower. Cauliflower watches and speaks.
"Who are you? Looks like Grandpa from the Tournament of Power.
But how so? What kind of skill do you possess?" After Cauliflower had destroyed several items from the description, one of the cats was lying on the floor and talking.
"So does that mean this is one of the clones created by Cypher's magic? Now you will be finished, mortals of Universe 6.
Kale alongside Kaba begin to fight directly with the Saiyan being that had appeared. At that moment, a huge explosion begins to occur. Cauliflower takes several hits. Kaba tries to hit the unknown being, and so far he can't do anything because his blows have no effect. Kaba speaks.
"Looks like this guy has more powers than I thought. Their skills are really amazing. I don't know if we will actually be able to beat him."
At that moment, everyone was knocked to the ground. Cauliflower gets up and starts laughing and talking.
"So now will be the big moment. Now I will show my true power. The great ability I hid after seeing Universe 7 Grandpa in the Tournament of Power."
At that instant, Cauliflower transforms into Ultra Instinct Level 3. His hair grows longer and his sweat strength increases 1,000 times. Cauliflower starts to smile and says,
"I'm sorry to keep you waiting, but now the real fight begins."
Battles take place in all universes. Cauliflower was fighting the being that was a copy of Goku created by Cypher, the Angel of Destruction. It seemed that everything was over for the mortals of Universe 6, until the moment when Cauliflower shows the result of the training he carried out to learn Ultra Instinct. After just seeing Son Goku show that performance in the Tournament of Power, Cauliflower has learned to utilize Mastery and is now back on the battlefield. Meanwhile, Goku was finishing his training alongside Vegeta with the Dragon God Zephyr. At that moment, Zephyr says, "It seems that now you already know the whole truth, doesn't it? I have a simple request to make of you. Soon we will meet on the battlefield and I will be able to show my true power once I have regained all my strength. Now that I am free of these chains, there are a few places I'd like to see before I enter the battlefield. But I ask, please don't die while I'm away." From what I'm seeing, for the Daishinkan team to be victorious, you must stay alive. At that moment, Goku starts smiling next to Vegeta and says, "Do not worry, thank you very much, Dragon God Zephyr. Now we know what we are going to do." Vegeta observes the whole situation and says,
I'm pretty sure you're pretty excited for this whole situation, aren't you, Kakarot? So after the words of Dragon God Zephyr said to me, I don't care anymore that your powers are from Yamoshi's reincarnation, even because his power is still much more important than his.
Vegeta starts laughing. Goku observes whatever Vegeta was trying to say. At that moment, Goku speaks. Well done, Vegeta. I know you too will get stronger. The infinite Saiyan power is something that is making my body's energy go higher and higher. It seems that when I activate this power, that no one can reach my level of strength. Not even the Universe 18 Angel clone was able to beat the infinite Saiyan. Haha. I'm very curious for you to reveal all of your strength, Vegeta, soon. I'm sure that soon we will be able to show even greater power, but we still need to get out of here. At that moment, Zephyr starts to laugh and says,
Well, I believe that since you managed to get me out of those chains, the least I can do for you is to get you out of this dimension, right? Anyway, where do you intend to go?
At that moment, Zephyr creates several time rifts directly in the unknown galaxy, the ancient whereabouts of the angel Shiva of Universe 18. From the temporal rifts, it is possible to see different universes where several battles are taking place. Goku sees everything that is happening on Earth and speaks. Damn it, what happened to Piccolo? Has Gohan achieved a new type of transformation? Broly's struggling. Gone. It's not possible. Gon is fighting an angel. Things are very complicated. Everyone is risking their lives in battle. Banzerot and Zaki keep getting more and more powerful. At that moment, Goku watches and speaks. Hang in there, guys, but I can't go ashore yet. I'll be back soon to help them, but before I do, we need to go to him, don't we, Vegeta? At that moment, Goku besides Vegeta smiles. Vegeta speaks.
Will that be, Kakarot? Let's go to Beerus the Destroyer. He must be waiting for us.
Zephyr observes and speaks.
So what do you want to go to, your god of destruction of your universe, right? Alright, whatever, it's done.
At that moment, Zephyr creates a portal directly to the planet Beerus. What do Goku and Vegeta want with Beerus? Planet Beerus. At that moment, many wondered why Beerus had not yet been involved in the battles, even knowing that Universe 7 and especially Earth was suffering the greatest attack. Those who won in the Tournament of Power were about to show their greatest performance, and yet Beerus didn't budge and continued on his planet of destruction alongside Whis. Beerus had not yet reached the battlefield. Goku and Vegeta, for some reason, knew why the god of destruction had not yet made his decision and was still standing on his planet. At that moment, Beerus speaks.
Looks like it's pretty close, isn't it, Whis? But we can't start yet. It seems that all this here in Universe 7 is getting more and more catastrophic. This time it seems that we are running out of choices. Mortals are being defeated and doing everything to get up and stand in their fights. I never imagined that I would have to do this again. Things seem to be getting more and more intriguing. Finally, they arrived.
A time rift opens on the planet Beerus, and Goku alongside Vegeta arrives at the planet of the god of destruction of Universe 7. Beerus had noticed that the two Saiyans were back. Beerus looks at Vegeta and says,
I hope you were able to control your power of Ultra Ego even more, Vegeta. After all, I've been waiting for a long time for you to raise more and more skills. I hope you managed to show something superior than what you showed last time. Do not let me down.
Whis watches and speaks. It seems that Mr. Beerus is wanting to test them, and by the way, they already noticed. Mr. Goku can reveal different situations about the Saiyan race, but Mr. Vegeta is totally different. Mr. Vegeta is a Saiyan prince and would never accept what happened to your race. Vegeta watches Beerus and speaks.
I got a lot stronger than you thought, Mr. Beerus, but let's get to the point. We're in the middle of a war. You should have told me that this Ultra Ego skill you were taught by the legendary Saiyan of Destruction.
At that moment, Beerus looks at Vegeta and speaks.
It means someone actually told you about the past and everything that happened that time.
At that moment, we have a small flashback when Zephyr told Vegeta that he had something special for him in his training. Zephyr was referring to the power of the legendary Saiyan Ultra Ego. The Saiyan legendary Ultra Ego was brought to the reference of that Saiyan, who in the past was the strongest, who with the power of destruction managed to end several planets. This Saiyan was considered the only uncontrolled being who fought for justice. The first Saiyan legendary god of destruction who used Ultra Ego. This Saiyan god was Vegeta's essence, the legendary Saiyan god of destruction, Yamazaki. At that moment, Goku starts watching and speaks. Does that mean then that that was it, Vegeta? That's amazing. That's why you didn't care that I had powers related to Yamoshi. Haha. So that was one of the reasons you wanted to talk to Mr. Beerus. At that moment, Vegeta looks at Beerus and speaks.
It wasn't just that Beerus was the destroyer. I imagine you probably didn't want to get involved within these battles until now, because you know that the destruction spans and your entire race is fighting this celestial war, and you don't want to end this race again like you did last time to bring balance, is it not?
Goku is startled. Vegeta keeps talking.
But Mr. Beerus forgets that for a moment, he ordered Frieza to eliminate my race, and I, as a Prince of Saiyans, cannot allow that. This tremendous cowardice of the God of Destruction of Universe 7. Back then, I didn't have powers for that. But now, my legendary Ultra Ego, and for my honor, even if we are in a celestial war, I will challenge you, Beerus the Destroyer. If I win, I will decide the future of your entire race just as you did mine.
Beerus starts laughing and says,
It seems that now we will be on the same coin, Vegeta. If you win, the fate of the Destruction Cats will be in your hands, all in the balance. It was the same way it always happened. I trained you for this, especially you, Vegeta, to be the future destroyer.
Beerus the Destroyer has been waiting for this moment. Vegeta activates his Ultra Ego and says,
Ha 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 ha! Let's start, Beerus, and put an end to this subject about the death of the Saiyans.
Goku and Whis watch Vegeta Ultra Ego vs Beerus. To be continued. You mean Vegeta wanted to go back to planet Beerus to settle the score with Beerus once and for all before going back to the Celestial War? Did Goku expect this? Alright partner, what do you imagine and believe about all of this? Regardless of what it is, it's more than important that you share your thoughts in the comments below so we can get into a crazy debate. Whack that like button and subscribe to the channel. That's all there is to it. Goodbye.